Ladies and gentlemen, let's run the intro first. Let's do that first. Today we are going to listen to the band Translator. No translator needed, except this one. We're going to listen to the band. We're going to listen to this song, Everywhere That I'm Not. This is off of their album Heartbeats and Triggers, their debut album, released 1982. We're listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by Jim. Jim, thank you so much for the recommendation and the sponsorship as well. I cannot speak today. I've never heard of the band. I don't know a thing about them. Really quickly, just to see, or just wanted to see if anyone else had recommended this band as well in the comments, because I forgot to do that, and I like to do that just to see, but I don't think so. And that's a no. Okay, so like I said, never heard of the band, don't know a thing about them, but let's go ahead and dive on in, get our swimming suits on. We'll give it a listen. We'll talk about it after. Here we go. We're jangling.
I thought I saw you out on the avenue, but I guess it was just someone who looked a lot like I remember you do. 'Cause I thought I heard your voice in a bar making a choice, but no, it was just someone who sounded a lot like I remember you do. 'Cause that's impossible, that's him. That's impossible, that's impossible. That's impossible, that's impossible. 'Cause you're in New York, but I'm not.
That's kind of cool, the way the chords change.
But I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, but I'm not. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not. I thought I felt your touch in my car on my clutch, but I guess it was just someone who felt a lot like I remember you.
I like how he yells the last time he swings it.
That's impossible, that's him. That's impossible, that's impossible. That's impossible, that's impossible. 'Cause you're in New York, but I'm not.
That's cool, the way the chords use.
You're in Tokyo, but I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, but I'm not. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not.
They got a few interesting kind of little things about them, right? The way they structure.
I thought I saw you out on the avenue, but I guess it was just someone who looked a lot like I remember you do. I thought I felt your touch in my car, but no such luck. No, it was just someone who felt a lot like I remember you do. 'Cause that's impossible, that's him. That's impossible, that's impossible. That's impossible, that's impossible. 'Cause you're in New York, but I'm not. You're in Tokyo, but I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, 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 but I'm not. Come on! Oh yeah, yeah!
Well, I love the way the bass hit kind of an undergroove right there. Really quick.
You're everywhere, but I'm not. You're everywhere, but I'm not. You're everywhere, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere, but I'm not.
that was a cool piece of very jangly pop. So I really like how it's pop, right? It moves in a certain direction. It hits a certain structure that it has to, right? But there's a few things in here that kind of, at least from what I'm hearing on this track, feels like they separate themselves at least a little bit from the rest. I love how before they get into the chorus, how lead singer, let me get his name, Steve Barton. I love how in the last line, he kind of gets into a more aggressive tone, a little bit of a vocal fry. And just the last line before moving to the chorus, right? Which, like we just heard at the end, he fully immerses himself there. So it wasn't just I'm lying. It was a hint of what was to come at the very end on that outro, when he just gives himself over to that throaty vocal fry. And I think that works really well in the climax, the way that they used it here. He didn't do that all the time. He kept it in a very symmetrical, predictable way beforehand. You knew it was coming at the end of the verse, and he never did that again until the ending of the track, where he really lets those seagulls fly for some fries. And I just thought that was really nice the way he did that. The music here kind of puts me in the same mind. I'm not saying it sounds the same, but it puts me in the same place as like a kind of like the Smiths, Pulp, Suede. Like it puts me in that side of things. And I thought that they played that very well. Larry Decker on the bass. Isn't Decker a writer or an author? Anyways, Larry Decker on the bass. And I love the movement of the bass line throughout this, because the guitar is doing its jangly thing, right? Guitar, that's going to be Steve Barton and Bob Darlington. They're just jangling away. Sounds good, right? Like loose change in your pocket. But I like how the bass is kind of really moving the track along in a way similar to the Smiths and how their bass, how Rourke kind of moves things in their music. That's what I think, that the bass is where I was really getting that feel from, and perhaps in some of the movement from the guitar. But I love how in the chorus, that's where they start to play with the structure a little bit. Oh, did everything and pop, they kind of, it sounds like they switch time signatures a little bit, and then in the end they do, something very similar. So I think that is kind of interesting how, yes, they're playing in the same lane as a pop rock song, but there's those things that make it a little bit more distinct to separate them from the rest. Let's take a look at these lyrics here really quick. Pull you guys up. Let's see. I thought I saw you out on the avenue, but I guess it was just someone who looked a lot like I remember you do. Because I thought I heard your voice in a bar making a choice, but no, it was just someone who sounded a lot like I remember you do. So there's two choices I'm thinking here. Either he really is just, really has this idea, this memory of a person he's no longer in a relationship with, and so he sees this person everywhere he goes, even though they're literally not there. Or they are there, he is seeing them, but that relationship is gone. They're so far removed at this point that he is seeing the person, but he's just like, no, that can't be you. That's not who you are. When that person's probably changed from whenever your relationship, when you were with each other. Because that's impossible. That's impossible. That's impossible. And you can kind of almost hear a little bit of a panic begin to set in, where he's trying to get the word out. Impossible. When he finally gets it out. Because you're in New York, but I'm not. You're in Tokyo, but I'm not. You're in Nova Scotia, but I'm not. Yeah, you're everywhere that I'm not. If he sees this person, he isn't there. I thought I felt your touch in my car on my clutch, but I guess it was just someone who felt a lot like I remember you do. Because that's impossible. That's impossible. You read the lyrics there. I thought I saw you on the avenue, but I guess someone else. I thought I felt your touch. No such luck. And it just repeats from there. You're everywhere that I'm not. So I think this right here is where it's really getting to. Where this person is, he's not. Whether that's by design, by choice, or that's just the way the cards fell upon the deck. Either way, you guys aren't together anymore. Time to move on. That misconnection needs to stay missed. Looking at this track, it says it was a hit single for the San Francisco group in 1982. It is said by many fans and critics that the band's signature song was mourning the loss of John Lennon. But this is a mistaken claim. The band's memorial to Lennon was actually another of their songs, the similarly titled Everywhere, from the same album this single comes from. Coincidentally, the song's producer David Kahn would later produce records from Paul McCartney. It says it was a hit on U.S. college radio, but achieved only moderate success or commercial success. Lamenting this, music critic Scott Miller wrote, from the jazzy, almost dissonant opening riff to the absolutely unforgettable chorus, this is one of music's most glaring, should-be classics. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments down below. Jim, thank you so much for the recommendation. Of course, for the support. I appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here, showing up and stopping by, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.